What is up, Bucs fans? We are live here on a Thursday night, back with you. We're gonna have Mark probably join a little bit later, trying to get the little one to sleep. Hope everyone is staying safe out there during the storm, and hopefully you guys are okay, have power and everything. So my prayers out to everyone in North Florida, especially on the coastline, south, St. Pete, all along the beaches for sure. So hope everyone's staying safe out there and is just riding it out. But appreciate all of you guys joining me here. Welcome to Real Bucks Talk here on a Thursday night edition. And just gonna give some thoughts on last week's game, and then go into some of the matchups against the Eagles coming up. Obviously, a big game on Sunday, and the Buccaneers need to bounce back for sure, especially after last week's, I guess, beatdown, you could say. It was just not a pretty game. I'll keep it short on the Broncos. I mean, there just wasn't a lot of good things that were happening overall. Slow starts. Baker Mayfield was not playing very well. Offensive line had struggles. Defensively, it was a very slow start, and then just couldn't get the extra juice that they were looking for early, and that kind of put them behind the eight ball. So need a much faster start, a much better game against the Eagles coming up on Sunday. I think that's going to be very important. You look at the Eagles and what they present depth chart wise. You have Jalen Hurts, obviously a quarterback that's dual threat, can get outside the pocket. Saquon Barkley is the big addition so far to their offense, and they have a pretty talented team. They could be without two of their top receivers in AJ Brown and Devontae Smith. We'll get into that shortly. But Eagles are a team that the Buccaneers faced last year in the playoffs, found a way to beat that team pretty convincingly, move on to the second round. But Eagles, I mean, they're just a tough team overall. They have a good offensive line, usually up front. They have Jordan Mailata, one of the best left tackles in the game. Lane Johnson, again, he's another one that could miss this week's game. He's questionable. You have Mekhi Becton, Cam Jurgens, and Landon Dickerson. So very big offensive line, very good size, a lot of beef. Defensively, it's led by the stud Jalen Carter. He is really good. Was awesome last week against the Saints. So he's going to be a tough matchup for the Buccaneers offensive line, no doubt about it. And then linebackers, they have, Nakobe Dean, Zach Braun has been a very pleasant surprise for them. You look at Josh Sweat. So really good, talented defense. Quinyon Mitchell, the rookie, CJ Gardner Johnson, we all know from his days with the Saints. Reed Blankenship, Darius Slay Jr. So they have a very veteran group, very talented up front on both sides of the ball. So it's going to be a challenge. I think what the Bucs need to do is forget about last week, put that one to bed, and just need to bring it. Definitely need to bounce back. Corey Hall, good to see you. Let me know if the audio sounds okay. Hopefully, I'm coming through clean here. Just making sure the internet connection is staying strong. As we, I live in Largo here, so just trying to get a good feed out to you guys. Hopefully, no issues as of now. But appreciate everyone joining the stream, checking us out. Should have Mark joining here shortly. Just waiting for the little one to fall asleep. But yeah, feel free to bring your questions, bring whatever you guys want to talk about. Very open to discussion. So yeah, let us know. But yeah, just looking at this matchup, I think it's going to be key for the Buccaneers to bounce back strong, start fast. I think that's going to be a big emphasis. You look at the Buccaneers' 2 wins, they had the ability to score first. I think that was key, getting the lead early, whether that's just by field goals or or touchdowns. Definitely, I think is key. Appreciate that, Corey. Thank you for answering. Glad the feed is coming in good right now. So yeah, just looking at this matchup, I think Buccaneers. I think they match up well with the Eagles. I think they find ways to have success against their defense, especially with the Eagles playing a lot of cover three, cover one defense. Don't really rely on the blitz a lot with Vic Fangio as their defensive coordinator. So it'll be interesting to see how they play us early on. Do they make adjustments, and can Liam Cohen, adjust to what they're presenting a little bit quicker than he did last week? So looking for that. Hopefully, a bounce back game from Baker Mayfield. You look at the injury report here. I mean, the Buccaneers have a lot of names on this list, but it looks like they're only going to miss about a few players here. It doesn't look like Kalijah Cansey's going to play. Probably no Keefe, and probably no Antoine Winfield Jr. So, be without those guys. But it looks like the rest of the group is going to play. So you get Luke Gedeke back, get Vita Vea back. That's going to be huge for the defense and the offense. And the big injuries for the Eagles, looking at it, no Devontae Smith, no Lane Johnson, no AJ Brown potentially. So that could be, big dividends for this Bucs team that, needs a win, especially you can't drop these home games. You're 1-1 on the road. Or I'm sorry, 1-1 at home. You look at the standings here. There you go, 2-1, 2-point differential right now, 64 points for, 62 points allowed. 1-1 at home, so you want to see that get to 2-1 this week after, Sunday against the Eagles. I think that is going to be very important. Definitely just got to pick it up quicker. I think a fast start is going to be the key in this game, and play with a physical tone, much like they did against Detroit. Against Detroit, they were physical, they played fast, and they were just playing smart football. And I think that's what they have to get back to against the Eagles. But would love to hear your guys' thoughts. Appreciate all the support. Hit that like button, like Krillin says here. Appreciate you joining us. Hit that like button, and if you're new here, hit the subscribe. We appreciate everyone joining in. If you're watching via Twitter on our Twitter channel, be sure to hit the like button and help support the channel. Much appreciated. So, if you guys have any questions, be sure to let us know. Corey Hall asking about Cansey here. Yeah, we definitely need pressure up the middle. That's been something that's hurting us, from a defensive line standpoint, especially with our edge rushers. I think our edge rushers are pretty good. They're getting the outside corner, but there's no push from that interior spot. So you don't have the ability to get more sacks back there because the quarterback can just step up like you're talking about. So, great point. Hopefully Cansey can come back soon. I think he's getting close. That's what I hear from sources, especially JC Allen. I want to shout him out. He's doing a great job with breaking the injury updates. So he's telling me that, Cansey is getting closer. I think he tweeted that out earlier this week. So hopefully we see him back for the Falcons game, or at least at the latest against the Saints. But yeah, definitely need that guy in the middle. He's just a huge presence, and probably our best pass rusher from that standpoint. He's just really solid, really good as far as getting interior penetration, and that's something the Buccaneers desperately need right now. So yeah, great point there. Sunday was not good, but we're turning the page. We're turning the page here at Real Bucs Talk, and looking forward to this Eagles matchup. And let me bring back up the standings here. Nope, that's not it. But just looking at the standings, I mean, the Buccaneers are still in first place. They're right there, 2-1, and have a great opportunity to go to 3-1, and then you have two division games after that on the road. And so really the Buccaneers are set up well here. I think now it's just getting back on track, finding that early energy and play physical from the get go. I think that's going to be important for this Bucks team. Um, and same thing for the Eagles; they're 2-1 as well, so it's really a good matchup. And look at that, the Washington Commanders are now 2-1. That's the team the Buccaneers did beat first week of the season, so that looks good on the resume. Bud Cannabis, I take Sue back for depth. Yeah, I mean, and Dominican Sue would be awesome to have. I just don't know, if he's going to continue. I know he's probably still in great shape, probably looking for an opportunity out there, but it's like, how much money is he going to cost you? Because he is a bit of a mercenary. He knows how to get good value, with his contracts, and has done a great job of just making money overall, like really good. So that is definitely something to watch, though, for sure. Definitely to keep an eye out and see if maybe the Bucks, give him a call and see if they can get a deal done. He would absolutely help this team. I would just love if he was in playing shape, he could start for us, and you could get, our favorite Logan Hall off the field because Logan is just it seems like he's just continued to regress year after year. There's really no progress for him, unfortunately. So that is kind of conundrum here with the Buccaneers defensive tackle position, because you have Vita Vea coming back, which will help, but then you have Greg Gaines, who's more of a rotational piece. You look at Logan Hall that I just mentioned, just can't really be consistent on the field. That's the biggest issue for him. Doesn't really win at the point of attack. William Golston is a good rotational piece as well, good veteran. But yeah, it's just, yeah, you got to speak it into existence for sure. I agree with you, Bud. Um, and you look at our other defensive linemen, I like what I've seen from CJ Brewer. At least he's got a little bit of, quick twitch to his game, quickness, can get upfield, can get off the blocks, make plays. For the most part, shows good hustle. Um, but yeah, that whole group as a whole, from the edge rushers to upfront defensive linemen, they got to be better as a group. It's got to improve linebackers as well. That's another, topic to look at. Do you guys think it's time for Servassier, Dennis, to be the starter? Because KJ has been struggling a bit here to start the season. Um, seems to be in the right spot, but just not able to make the plays right now. He's missing some tackles, not either late to the spot or he's in the right position, but just can't finish. So that'll be intriguing to see if Servassier gets more playing time as we go along here. I think he's definitely earning it. Looks like a very solid player. And yeah, I want to get into some positives here for last week. I think Zion McCollum continues to shine very brightly, continues to show that he is a legit corner, a top corner in this league that hopefully continues to grow. And sure, there's going to be some bumps in the road. I'm sure of that as he gets experience going up against different wide receivers. But right now, he looks pretty good. Um, so yeah, I think he was a positive. Obviously, Bucky Irving has got a lot of talk and has been a positive as well. I think the running game overall, it's tough. I think they're just running some of the uh, wrong runs, to say the least. They're trying outside zone a lot, and it's just not working. Um, Mark, if you can hear me, give me a thumbs up if you're ready. Okay. I'm gonna bring in my co-host Mark Ramirez. He has made it. As he was trying get the little one down to sleep. So Mark, how are we doing? How's everything at the house? Everything holding up okay?
Yeah, I always say if you're not in South Tampa or you're not near the water, you should be fine. Just
Mhm.
buckle up, right?
Yeah.
But other than that, yeah, Bud Campbell said it best. Woo! There you go. We're in it for the long haul tonight. I saw the
Mhm.
tornado warning till 6 a.m. I'm like,
Yeah.
holy shit.
Yeah, I'm sleeping downstairs just to be safe, for sure. But again, I'll reiterate. I hope everyone here that is tuning in, listening, appreciate all the support. Hope you guys are being safe. If you're in Florida, just hope everything is going well for all of you guys as well. A couple questions before we get into some other topics. Corey Hall had one here about Logan Hall, our favorite. JTS it does have a 5th-year option, but they did not pick it up. They declined it. Logan Hall, I think, has one more year after this season, unfortunately. So he's on the team next year as well. So yeah, there won't be any options for Logan Hall. He was a 2nd-round pick. A lot of people forget that. They think he was 1st-round pick, but he wasn't. So he only gets a 4-year deal. So hope that answered your question. Lee Evans or Les Evans had a great point about the running game. Stop running Rashad up the middle. Rashad is best catching passes out of the backfield. Bucky and Sean Tucker should be the running backs. Yeah, I mean, Mark, your thoughts on just the running game. I was talking a little bit about that. I think it's just it's a little bit complicated on how they're trying to proceed with it, and I think certain execution is just not happening for them, especially on the outside zone runs.
I mean, so there's a lot to talk about that.
Yeah.
It's not a simple answer, but I mean, you probably touched on it. People have probably heard this all week about
Mm,
how frustrating that game was. It was. Being there, it was terrible. There was nothing to hang your hat on. Like nothing worked offensively, defensively, special teams, nothing, right?
yeah.
It was a poorly coached game, poorly played game, poor effort game. Like anywhere you could have pointed the finger at anyone, and everyone's to blame. So the running game itself, if you have a happy feet quarterback, if you have a right tackle that's getting rocked everywhere, you have your rookie center, you have a right guard that's sometimes doing well, sometimes inconsistent. It's it's a lot to kind of go with. And yes, Bucky Irving is the one little flash of goodness, right? He made a lot of
Mm,
people miss, and he was the only highlight of that game offensively, pretty much, besides the one touchdown to Godwin.
yep.
But but he had to do so much to gain what yards he had, or it was like the gadget play end arounds
Mm,
to him. Those
yeah.
aren't true, like, oh, let me give it to my bell cow type of runs. It was creativity that got him those opportunities. So it's like we need to be able to run the ball when we want to run the ball. And we haven't been able
Mm,
to do that for years. It's going to take time. Yes, your rookie center is going to have to learn gaps a little bit better in understanding where things are going. Yes, but he's still playing lights out at times. But this
mm,
is all growing pains of it. And or am I going to totally say Rashad White is send him packing? No. Like I still think he's a potential 1,000-yard rusher like he was last year. And
mm,
Bucky is a flash that can make you miss and bang one out for 30, 40 yards if you miss him, right? But
mm,
it's not entirely just because of the running back. There's a whole lot to go about it. And yeah, I think you probably touched on it earlier. I wasn't listening, but about
mm,
Baker's happy feet, how a lot of those sacks were on him. I mean, even
yeah.
during the game, like I could see that. I'm like, what the hell are you doing? Like,
Mm,
you didn't have to take that. You could have thrown it away. But I mean, it is what it is. You're moving on. My biggest takeaway was walking into the game of it being a trap game. Sean Payton's method of how to beat the Bucs, it's a telling thing. And what's scary is that we're facing a guy that did very similar things in the Eagles. And what's the play caller again? He was with the Dallas. He did it to us and schooled us in our playoff game against the Brady. What was the play caller?
you're talking about
Eagles
the
play
off,
caller. Offensive
the
coordinator. Yeah.
oh, Nick Sirianni, I think is still the
No, no,
play caller. They had Brian Johnson, or well, he's not there anymore.
offensive coordinator. Offensive coordinator. Damn it, they just signed him. We're looking at getting
Um,
him.
I'm
Former
gonna have, I'm gonna
Former
have to look.
Cowboys. Damn it.
Oh, I know who you're talking about now. Ken. No, it's not Ken. Let me
Former
look at.
cornerback,
Yeah,
Boise State, right? I think it was.
yeah, I know who you're
Guys in the
talking
chat, help me out. I'm brain farting. There's a hurricane
about.
around.
Yeah, let me look up the coaching staff real quick just to
But
make
yeah,
sure.
he's going to do the same dink and dunk, make the outside linebackers.
Oh, Kellen Moore. That's who it is.
There you go, Kellen Moore. Yeah,
Yeah.
I got everything but his damn name. So I mean, I
Yeah.
think that's a recipe of how to beat Todd Bowles' defense, and it's something where you know what's going to happen. It's just we got to execute, play at a higher level. Like their guys weren't playing. Like they're like, oh, we're not going to take it off because we beat the Lions. Yeah, you did. 100% did. And Baker had this mentality of, oh, I had to run to beat the Lions. It sounded like Liam Cohen loved it. Oh yeah, that's a aspect of his game I didn't really think of. And oh, now maybe he chalked him up a little too much, saying, "Oh, that's great. I like that wrinkle. Bring it back to the basics, Baker."
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
will think so.
Yeah, it was weird because like the second play of the game, he already had happy feet to start, like leaving the pocket too early, not going through the proper progression of the play and hitting guys that were open, running open, opportunities there for bigger plays, and he just yeah, it kind of just went too fast at times, escaping the pocket when he didn't need to. And I think he was, like you said, just a little bit maybe too confident in his running ability. And really, it wasn't a good running game for him. And, just got to give credit to Denver. They played a very good, solid defensive scheme. They took Mike Evans out of the game as well. And there's a lot of good things there from their point of view. And you mentioned it. I mean, Sean Payton 7-0 versus Todd Bowles as a play caller, or however you want to you know mark it up. But yeah, it just wasn't good. But we turned the page, and like I was saying earlier in the pod, this is a huge game. It's an opportunity to bounce back against a good opponent and get on the right track at home, get back to 2-1 at home, and finish this little home standoff strong before you head on to the road for two very key division games coming up. So I think key for the Bucs is just start fast, and you got to play physical. When we play physical and fast, that's usually a good sign. And we saw that against Detroit. We saw it against Washington. That is what we need to play with to find this victory on Sunday.
Yeah. So let me answer this over here. KGH for life.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, the problem with Bowles is that for the most part, he's going to play his scheme no matter what, and the good OCs know how to attack it. I agree. I agree with a lot of that, but that's also why the best coaches usually are the ones in the last game, right? Andy Reid's always been there because he's a great offensive play caller and he has a great quarterback to get him to get into those plays. It's not necessarily just Mahomes, right? It's the amazing play call at the end of the year that he has. He just happens to have a great quarterback as well. But to the credit of Bowles, yes, he's going to have to play a scheme because that's what he does. It's more to the credit of the cornerbacks that when they do these dink and dunk passes or the outside linebackers, they need to get in their zones. And we've banged our head on this multiple times. And that's why you learn more from the losses than you do from the wins.
Mm-hmm.
So every loss during our Super Bowl season, everyone's like, oh, we're never going to go nowhere, blah, blah, blah. We lost to the Saints, blah, blah, blah. Lost to the damn Bears. How the hell did we do that? And it was just guys just literally finding little spots in the flats where the outside linebackers have to get after it, or those corners need to crash down and help out. They didn't do that for the most part. I mean, the Broncos, yeah, in the first drive, they had, two passes? One was a push off that should have been a flag, and then one that went over McCollum's head.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The biggest thing with his defense is don't get beat deep. Other than that, keep it in the middle, keep it short where we can gang tackle. A lot of them didn't do that. They got there and then they didn't tackle. The KJ Britt missed tackle on the 4th and goal haunts me still. I'm like, what the hell? Anthony Nelson and Britt, the two most sound guys we have, totally getting juked out by a guy. It's not a good juke guy.
Mm-hmm.
So that upset me. It's more the want to, like how they did it against the Lions, where they were swarming everywhere. This one wasn't necessarily good tackling, good swarming, or anything. It was, and I think McCollum said it after the game. It's like, oh, we're expecting a win. Now, like, how do you come into that mentality? That's not just coaching; that's the players themselves, and
Yeah.
hopefully that truly is off their, I guess, brain, and that now it's all just hard-headed football and let's go win some games.
Hmm.
But yeah, but to that, yes, Bowles' scheme works if the players are sitting to it. I mean, they love his blitz packages. They love you don't know where it's going from, right? But if you're
Yeah.
not in the zone, you're supposed to be in attacking downhill after the guy gets the ball. No defense will look good, right?
Yeah.
So it has to be played to the way it's supposed to be played. And if you're not doing it, those little small zones turn into massive gap gainers.
Hmm. Yeah, for sure. And obviously we can't discount, who they're missing on defense right now.
Yeah.
Vita Vea coming back this week will obviously help. Um, but you need Kalijah Cansey, you need Antoine Winfield Jr. Like Antoine does so much for the defense, and that's what I think a lot of people get mistaken on is how big of the safeties play a role in this defense. We've seen it already with Jordan Whitehead, and he's trying to do everything he can. The same goes for Antoine, because Antoine's not only a great guy to bring pressure with, but his ability to make plays on the football, be in the right spot, shut down passing lanes over the middle of the field.
Mm.
That's a big part that the Buccaneers just don't have right now. Yes, Christian Izien is doing a fine job stepping in and doing what he can. But to that point, and to Corey Hall's point as well, talking about Jamel Dean, like I think that was missing. That was missing last week. Like the week before, everyone in the secondary were crashing. They were flying to the football. They were hitting. They were tackling. And that's what made it tough on Detroit to score points, especially inside the red zone. They were really closing in. They were clicking and closing on those comeback routes, the short routes, tackling, and getting more third down opportunities. So that is something that they have to get back to and really fly to the football with authority and play physical.
Yeah, and that is a good point though. Like
Mm-hmm.
he does have stiff hips. If you see him, he just looks almost robotic when how he moves.
Yeah.
Luckily, he hasn't had many knee injuries since being in the league, knock on wood. But
Right.
he had 2 torn ACLs prior in college because of those stiff hips. So yeah, like that's one thing to pick on, but it's not necessarily just him. I mean, it's a team gang defense. Like if it's a shorter route, you better stop it right there. He did good against the Lions, but yeah, he got picked on in this one.
Mm-hmm.
But again, it's in the past now. You learn from it. There's a lot of things, like you just said, the injuries. Antoine Winfield Jr. got the money for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
He is one of the highest paid players on that defensive side of the ball because he can do everything. Kalijah Cansey and Vita Vea didn't play as our 2 best defensive linemen. So,
Mm-hmm.
yes, there were gaping holes. The defense had more reason to why they gave up points. Offense is just, yeah, Schooley being there for Gedeke. I get it. But play calls, got to understand that. Your coach has got to coach it better. Mike Evans only having 2 catches is an issue. Let's not force feed him, but if he's being locked down, Godwin better be fed left and right nonstop, especially if the running game isn't working. So there's things to work on 100%, and execution and Baker understanding, get to your reads. And if you're scared about the right tackle, read it better. Read what's
Mm-hmm.
happening in front of you and move your read faster. You don't have to move your feet faster.
Yep.
Think faster.
Yeah, for sure. Great point here by Fukuwab. Yeah, I mean, and that's something I talked about earlier on the show. Not having those guys like Vita Vea and Kalijah Cansey to push the pocket from the middle. Right now, you're not getting that push from the interior, so your edge rushers can't win on the outside because that quarterback is just stepping up and evading those sacks. Like JTS probably could have had at least maybe 2 to 3 sacks potentially against Denver, but the problem was there was no pushback. So Bo Nix could just step up and evade, that edge rush. Same thing with Yaya Diaby as well. Yaya has to be that kind of interior rusher right now because you don't have anybody
Yeah.
pushing the pocket. So hopefully soon. I think Elijah is close to being back. I would expect hopefully for Thursday night's game, potentially. If not, most likely the Saints. He returns, and yeah, desperately need him because we need some force up there, especially on the interior, because the guys that we have playing right now, just not getting it done. One of them is unplayable. The other three at least are, trying their best. I think CJ Brewer has definitely earned a spot on the team. He's at least shining, or at least disengaging, getting off blocks. The rest of them, you can't really say much. But again, that's not their fault. They're designed to be rotational backup players. That's why you need Vita, you need Kalijah definitely back for sure.
Yeah, think about what the hell we have out there. We have guys who are on the practice squad that didn't make the team.
Yeah.
Out there, and then we get 3 injured defensive tackles in the matter of a week. That's hard. That's tough. And I guarantee you, Bowles is like, this sucks. Not to mention a cornerback, your third cornerback out, top safety out. So defensively, he has excuses, I guess, if you want to put it one way, of why the hell he's not being a top 5 defense, if you want to put it that way. To me, it's always going to come down to the offense. Why the hell are they not scoring the points? 7 points isn't going to do it in the NFL anymore. So, yeah, they call it a trap game, whatever. I call it a coach called out another coach and found, okay, he's injury riddled all day over here. Let me just do this. Like, how many times did they actually run the ball and succeeded well? It wasn't gut-wrenching runs, but they just were able to run the ball efficiently. So our offense needs to wake up and, okay, we had one injured right tackle. You still have a glutton of weapons to use. Use them correctly.
Yeah, I think, and that's something they have to get back to this week. They definitely got to start fast. You got to put up points on your early possessions, find a way to get the lead. I think that's going to be important, and really focus on getting back to timing throws with Baker, get him in rhythm early, get him reading the plays the right way. And then run game, I think you've got to continue to be creative in how you set up those runs. I love the counter plays that they had set up with Bucky. I think Rashad, you want to do some more of those things with him as well. Misdirection runs, get our guys moving downhill, because right now the outside zone is just not consistent enough. They're trying to do it, but the reach blocks are just too hard for these guys to really get out in front and really set it up well. Like, they had one that actually worked. It was a great 9-yard gain by Rashad. They got the blocks that they needed, but it's just so up and down, so inconsistent. So that is something that I think Liam will adjust to. And it's kind of how it happened last year with Dave Canales. We saw the adjustments in the run game and it started picking up, especially towards the end of the year. Hopefully we see that much sooner this time around and they can get that running game going more consistently. But I think, like you said, got to get Mike the ball, get him involved. Even if it's just like a little comeback route where he just catches it for 5 yards. Like, I think that's what you need to focus on. Get him going. Same thing with Chris Godwin and others as well.
And like, so Farouk Co-op said, shit, we're 2-1 before we would be preparing to start looking at mock drafts by week 5. So to his credit, yes, we're 2-1. We had one big win, but this is just one big loss. And it's the way in which they lost. And it was at home. It was coming off of a high. You came back home in front of your home fans. They're excited. You want to reinforce that excitement by getting a should-be win, right? Everyone probably chalked up the Lions a loss, and everyone probably chalked up the Broncos as a win.
Yeah.
And this happens. So, and everyone probably said, we're going to lose to the Eagles, lose to the Falcons, right? It's already chalked in, right? But it's the way in which they lost. And it's like, if we lost by 7, 3, 4, whatever it was, okay, it's a tough game. But they lost from the get-go. It didn't even seem like a competitive game.
Yeah.
And it was a frustrating game. We're down 17-0 at one point. Come on. And nothing was going well. So that is what's upsetting. But in reality, It is one game, and there's been times Tom Brady led Brian Belichick or Bill Belichick teams and Patriots where they got
Mhm.
their ass stomped and still
Yeah.
won the Super Bowl later that year. And
Yep.
it's just what was it? I think it was against the Chiefs. They lost like 49-21 or something like that.
Yeah, that was pretty bad. That was I want to say back, what was that, 2012 or one of those years. But yeah, for sure they
They
got
end up,
destroyed.
end up winning the Super Bowl. And it's just
Yep.
like, okay, it was one game. We just didn't come out with the fire we should have. And those are grown men being paid to beat us too. So, I
Yeah.
mean, that's what you hope it is. You wake the hell up and realize what you got to do every damn game.
Mhm.
Logan Hall, on the other hand, I doubt he'll ever get that.
Yeah. I mean, it's not good when the only pressure you can get is when you get unblocked and you're a free rusher. And that's, that's your pressure on the season. So, um, yeah, I mean, we'll continue to send our prayers, continue to send our prayers his way. Hopefully that changes, but yeah, not counting on it. But again, you look at the standings, Buccaneers are right there. You look at the Eagles, again, they're 2-1. Buccaneers already beat a quality team here in the Washington Commanders, so
Mhm.
you gotta put that. And
And
Detroit.
convincing favor too.
Yep. So that points well. But yeah, a big game here against the Eagles, and I want to shift gears here real quick. Let me go back. Where's my? There we go. I wanted to bring up this guy here because I think he is going to be the big key for this one, especially early on. This guy right here, Saquon Barkley, like, dude is super explosive, and we can't allow things like this to happen. Just got to be prepared, got to be able to shut down and contain him because super athletic playmaker that can go the distance any play. So you have to be aware of that situation.
Yes, I mean, in years past, our defensive line wasn't this injury riddled.
Yeah.
I know we always talk about Logan Hall. I know he's going to live up gaps. I know what he's going to do. The linebackers behind them, they're going to have to work double time. That's all it
Mhm.
is. I mean, you don't got the big fat guy in the middle. Is Vita Vea is he questionable in this game? I'm surprised if he is.
No, I think he's going to play. I'm pretty sure. Let me bring back the
If there's a
injury.
guy that I wouldn't rush, it would be him.
So
I would
Vita
still play this like Elijah. Geez.
So I'll bring this back up. If you can see that, Vita Vea was limited today as well. He practiced yesterday. Um, I would say he probably leans to questionable, but I think he's going to play. They have a brace on that knee, and you just got to hope he's at least 90% and ready to go out there and at least command double teams, make it easier for said linebackers because yeah, they're going to be important. I think Jordan Whitehead's going to be a big factor, especially playing closer to the box here.
So hold
And
on. Is both AJ Brown and Devontae Smith not going to play?
yeah, so those are the big injuries for the Eagles early. That I was talking about earlier in the show. But yeah, AJ Brown, Lane Johnson, Devontae Smith all haven't practiced this week, so they could potentially be out, and that would be obviously huge for the Buccaneers defense. You can really send your forces up near the line of scrimmage and try to contain Barkley. I think that will definitely be the game plan. And then again, it still comes down to the offense. Like we were saying, the offense got to put up points. That's going to be huge. Start fast and really attack an Eagles defense that is suspect against the run. And I know we've said that over the last couple of weeks, but this running game just needs to do something where they can get going fast and really help out Baker to get more options down the field, get more explosive plays. But be smart about it. I think that's something that maybe Cohen forced a little bit too much last week. Just take what's underneath, continue to play that dink and dunk game, play ball control, and use your guys in, high percentage plays where you can get confidence early on.
Yeah, and that's something I talked to you about it. It's like, where the
Yeah.
hell were the Godwin screens? Where was the Kate Otten screens? Where was the
Right.
consistently, let's
Yeah.
make them bite in so that we can get over the top, right? I know, okay, yeah, Evans got covered a lot, but for a guy that's a play caller that knows how to scheme up some crazy cool things,
Mhm.
yeah, he drew it up for Bucky Irving pretty well. Some of it is execution by quarterback and said offensive line. Yes, I know there's a lot that goes into it, but you had to kind of dummy it down, especially if things weren't working at all, right? I mean, there's punt,
Yeah.
punt, punt. Even your punter was sucking. We had to bring in another punter. So, like,
Yeah.
you got to find ways to keep the ball moving. I know he's like, oh, I just want to score in every possession. Let's just move the ball every possession. At least help out your defense a little bit
Mhm.
in that fashion. So, yes, I would expect the whole team to wake up on this one, but it's not like it's an easy foe. Like Carter in the middle is going to be a problem for Barton. It's
Yeah.
just what it's going to be,
Mhm.
and he's already learning on the go. I find him better than Hainsey at blocking, but it's the assignment based stuff is what troubles me. I said this all offseason.
Mhm.
Don't think it's a big deal. It is.
Yeah.
um, I think that's another reason why in games prior, Tristan Wirfs gave up a sack and he was an unblocked guy. Like that to
Mhm.
me, that's like calling it out in the middle and he goes one way, the whole entire line goes the other way. Is that
Yeah.
crowd noise? Is that he said one thing and he heard another? I don't know. But
Mhm.
I mean, it is what it is. Defensive line, it starts up front. Your offensive line's got to do better. Hopefully, Gedeke's back 100% now,
Mhm.
and we see where we can go. And run to the right. Walk in Gedeke, once they start going, they're pretty damn good. So
Right.
I would say that lean on them. Just, I mean, that's the only game we kind of really did run efficiently, right?
Mhm.
So let's see if that comes back, and then plus answer this.
No, Devin's probably not going to be active. I don't. Well,
If he
with their
is, he's probably going
their
to have the game of his life.
no, I don't. I don't think he'll play at all. He'll play on special teams, I'm sure, but I don't think he's going to be active. Just looking at their injury report, if those three guys we mentioned are out, I mean, maybe he gets dressed, but I doubt it. They have good linebackers starting. N'Kobe Dean has earned the right. They have other guys that they like that are playing well. So yeah, Devin is he's just on a journey right now. But I don't think he's going to be. Yeah, it's not live. No, he's not. Um, he's going to have to find probably another team next year, and maybe he can get a starting job somewhere. But yeah, Eagles are pretty set there with what they have linebacker situations. So, um, but again, like we were saying, yeah, offense needs to pick it up. They got to start faster, find ways to run the football, and get high percentage passing plays early, so that way Baker's confident. Um, and as far as Jalen Carter, yeah, that's going to be very tough. Like he had one of the best defensive lineman performances probably in the last few years against the Saints. He was unbelievable, pretty much unblockable, getting a lot of pressures in the face of Derek Carr. So yeah, tall assignment. They're going to definitely have to double team him for sure with Graham Barton and Cody Mock, and make sure they have resources there to block up that front. Um, Eagles don't blitz a lot. That's not really their forte. They like to play a lot of cover three, so that's kind of good because that's what the Bucs face in practice pretty often. They face a lot of cover three because that's what Todd Bowles does. So hopefully that's a good thing of signs to come. So we'll just have to see how it plays out. But yeah, I think overall keys are just starting fast. So that's what I'm looking for in this one.
Just find a way to get Cade the ball in the middle of the field again.
Yeah,
Because
just middle of the field and period. Like
yes,
you got to mix it up a little bit.
yes, I know a lot of it's the deception of East and West, which allows them to get North and South easier.
Right.
I mean, sometimes middle of the field is just there, and
Mm,
they haven't. He just hasn't really used Cade Otton really well just yet. I know he had some like the potential touchdown in the Lions game.
right.
Should have been unless of an amazing play like that. But I think he needs to get utilized a little bit more in the middle of the field so you can get over the top a little bit easier. Because if guys
Mhm.
are having to go in the middle of the field, safety doesn't have to creep in because this damn guy keeps getting 5, 8 yard catches left
Yeah.
and right, like he did in that playoff game. Over the top, and the outsides will be wide open. So let's see. And you don't have to just worry about a tight end that blocks. Okay, you got a tight end that can catch a ball. So
Mm.
let's get creative. I'm not saying make him your number one influence on the offense, but have him help your outside possibilities.
Yeah. Completely agree. And yeah, we're overdue for an opening drive touchdown. It's been since 2022 since we had one. Um,
I'm gonna say
yeah.
no.
What?
I'm gonna say no.
Yeah, probably not. But I mean,
Field
gotta
goal.
f- gotta find a way to start fast, and that's getting points by any means necessary. If that's a field goal, if it's a touchdown, great. But I think that's going to be important, especially for this game. Get that good feeling back and start quick, and hopefully that can resonate throughout the rest of the game moving forward. But yeah, it should be a lot of fun. Probably going to have some rain as well. This storm is bringing a lot of rain over the weekend. So yeah, I mean, just got to be smart, protect the football, and play physical. That's what I'm looking for in a rebound game against this Eagles team.
And again, it's a team that has a lot of weapons. Some of them may not even play now. So
Yeah.
if it's just one you got to key in on, we're good at stopping the run, but do we have the personnel to consistently do it with our depleted defensive tackles? Let's see. And you hope so,
Hmm.
but I mean, it remains to be seen. Like we've been saying, the offense has to right the ship because they got to carry with all these injuries that we're dealing with. And they always say next man up. Okay, cool.
Hmm.
Let's do it. I mean, come with the same drive you had against the Lions, and good things will happen because that's what the the Eagles did against the Saints and knocked the shit out of them, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
So they're coming off a high. Let's see what happens. We beat the crap out of them in the playoffs and ended their season. Are they going to get pissed off at us like we
Hmm.
did with the Lions? Most likely, right?
Yeah.
You better bring your A game, or it's going to be an ass stomping even worse.
Hmm.
This is actually a potential. Wait, did Jalen Hurts actually win MVP in his season, or he got hurt and didn't get it?
I don't think he's won MVP yet. I
Close
don't.
to it. He was really close.
Yeah, but I agree with you what you said. I mean, we that's why I'm saying like the key is starting fast. Like you got to match that intensity from the get go because their emotions are probably going to be a little out of control, to say the least, because of what happened last year. So I think you got to match that intensity and emotion early on and hit them in the mouth and start fast, and hopefully that continues throughout the game and gets you going, and you avoid that slow start that you had last week where it just seemed like the players were flat. And Mike Evans talked about that. He's like, yeah, we were ready to go. We had a great week of practice, but we came out flat. So hopefully that doesn't take place this week and they bring that energy early and often. That's what needs to happen.
And that kind of sucks. I mean, it's almost like that Panthers game
Mhm.
where he dropped the ball on the first drive. Would have been like a 70-something yard touchdown.
Yeah.
After that, the wind was taken out of our sails, and we just couldn't do anything. That
Mhm.
shit pisses me off
Yeah.
almost. It's like it's almost as a competitor and a player, you're like, no, I'm gonna get the next one. Let's go do this shit again. And as
Mhm.
a coaching staff, you're like, no, that isn't us. We're gonna do this. We're gonna draw it up again, and you're gonna catch it this time,
Mhm.
right? So is it the coaching that's allowing the player to feel that way, or is it the player themselves? And then everyone sees this one guy is down and they fall because of that.
Mhm.
And if the almighty Brady couldn't change it, how the hell is anyone else going to do it, right? So
Yeah.
it is frustrating, but I mean, I just don't see how one damn play can drop the sales. If it's the end of the game, I understand it, but it's one play
Mhm.
at the beginning of the game. I find that as more of a ammo to say no, we're going to go correct this and let's go get it. But it's a team game. All of them have to work together for that, and a good play caller can kind of set that up. And I think Liam Cohen is going to be a little pissed off and ready to show up on Sunday. I think so.
Mhm. Yep, yep. Should be a good game. I think that's going to do it for us, guys. Appreciate everyone joining us here in the chat. Remember to hit that like button, comment down below your thoughts, your thoughts of this Eagles game coming up. Yeah, feel free to leave us a comment, give us a score prediction if you want, and subscribe if you're new here. We appreciate all new subscribers. So you guys do so much for the channel, so it's much appreciated. But would love to see in the comments your score prediction and who you think is going to win this game. What's your keys to the game as well? So don't be shy. Leave those comments. We love to respond to them and love to see new people, bring their thoughts and comments to the table for sure. But I think that's going to be it for us tonight. Hope everyone has a good weekend. Stay safe out there. Stay dry. And hopefully everything is good in a couple days as this storm gets out of here. And hopefully it brings us a good win on Sunday for sure. But with that said, I'm Michael Plus, joined as always my co-host Mark Ramirez. Real Bucs talk here on a Thursday night. And everyone, go Bucs, and we'll see you on the next one.
Go Bucs.